noisy neighbour to make up what I see to be 5 rather than 5 rings. That means that how one does deliver a more holistic integrated youth community engagement sport and physical activity programme for young people right in the community for the Olympic and Paralympic year has never been more important. The only multi-sport opportunity for people to work in a collaborative light is the London Youth Games, and that is why this particular third phase of workshop engagement is so important. The activity today actually starts to see things reflect what an integrated holistic approach might look like, and all of that diverse engagement now represents a very powerful underpinned report lobby for all the opportunities that can now be provided. All of that represents something that brings it all into one place, because it is still about sustainable evidence. Many of you working within the number of the funding agencies, whether it be government or otherwise, are looking for evidence of impact. The quantity of impact with young people, communities, and the quality of the outcomes. What does it lead to? How is it evidenced? And that's why it starts to represent the art of the possible in the next steps. That is currently, there is a community campus that was developed as a result of the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, and it is live, it is active, and it is now a proof of concept. The objective is that it will be amplified and replicated in a number of major cities. The London campus does exist. I'm going to hand over to Peter Raymond, who will swiftly take you through why this starts to become quite unique in its potential. And I said that in a very guarded light. Peter.
So the London Community Campus has been developed as an area where you can share and discuss the great work that you are doing with young people and communities in your areas. Within this, there is a stream which will show everything that's uploaded onto this area. So the latest stuff has been this the AAA work that Janice has been doing with Jordan and others in East London, and there's the accessing the track is on there, and there's the event they did before Christmas. So there's a lot been uploaded there already, and we're looking to upload more. The events, so the workshop's still there. That will disappear at the end of the day, because once this has been delivered, it will go into the past events. You can always have a look at what past events have been delivered. That should load up now, and there's quite a few on there. So I don't know what past events. But if you take the time, you will be able to find those past events when you go. Topics, this is the most, where most of the work you do can be uploaded. You can share and discuss everything that you're doing. You can upload videos, you can upload photos, you can write news articles, you can write, and you can upload documents you want to share with the people. You can also see what other members are in the group. So there's a lot. There is in this group there's 44 members at present, and we've had 7 events delivered and 7 topics. And then the albums is where you upload groups of pictures that you want to do. So we've got the Youth Games, London Youth Games. We've got the AAA Games event. We've got the other activities we're doing with the AAA group, and we've got the Community Day as well. So, as part of developing this community campus and showcasing the great work that you're doing, we welcome you to all upload your work you're doing. You will be members of this group, and we're looking forward to seeing a lot more of the London Youth Games work being delivered uploaded up there as well. So if I close this, we'll go back to the presentation, and I think I'll hand back over to Jeff.
I think in what I wanted to just simply present the art of the possible, and although it might not be within your interest, this year will be arguably the most discussed year for sport for development, sport inclusion, strategies, resources that are about to be made available, but will still be dependent on a local election, the London elections, which primarily is what I'd be hoping all of this effort would be presented to either a re-elected mayor or a new mayor. We don't know what democracy might present us. But we do know that the London Youth Games, for me, is the culmination of everybody's efforts, and that's not just for a weekend of finals festival, it's the culmination of the whole year-round engagement of young people and communities. The Birmingham Community Campus, unfortunately, in what is a post-game city, did not see the cutting of youth services. So in a Games pledge of legacy participation to young people and communities, especially historical deprivation and disadvantage, Birmingham, facing a number of financial challenges, cut the youth service provision. Other boroughs attempted it because we don't have a statutory youth provision. It used to exist, so it's one of the strong areas of lobbying, but you do need the evidence. So we're not able to expose you to the full currency of the Birmingham Community Campus, but I would say for London, it's pretty light. But I do know, hopefully with you being exposed to the art of the possible, the timeline is identified, and this will all be shared with you, but the work has been extensive enough where with a report that you will have all contributed to and participated in, you will have contributed to some pretty big decisions. Selina, how are you? Welcome. Selina was going to be late, but Selina knows as much of and will be part of the lobbying. By the way, none of this happens unless we lobby. We're going to have to fight for resources, and there are many people who wouldn't want to do it. But that's why this particular workshop, reflective of the last year and a half, or over a year and a half, is so important. The majority of you are from the Youth Games experience, but we've bought into that and we've subscribed to that, and we know what this can look like. But to those who are uninitiated, or those who are interested, to those who might be curious, we need hard evidence, and that's quantitative, it is stories, it is image, and it is impact. And the Sustainable Development Goals are what we can now do locally, globally. By the way, from the Birmingham campus, we're now able to take the experience. We're more than likely now able to develop campuses in 8 countries, because I was committed to what this would look like if I find the campus. That simply reflects everything. And Greenpeace is the model we use because they're stroppy, activists, curious, and they get in the way of anything that might disrupt for all the right reasons. But it is still in development. Any of you who understand geopolitics of this country in its own right suggests that if it doesn't happen in London, it isn't happening anywhere. And in a Games year and a transition year, this has never been more important. So, like everything, if you have an app, you spend the time with the app or the platform of your interest, navigate it, test it, because the feedback will literally set the tone for not only young people communities here in this city, but in other cities. Bless you. Is there anything that has not made sense in based on what I've just tried to impart? It's all made sense. Fantastic. I don't like the old bill. That's what I grew up with. I have an absolute healthy disdain for them. My experiences with them were not nice, but you cannot judge all with the same experience of your own individual experience as well as that of others. We decided to work with the Met Police because I felt it was important that police officers who are human beings, and especially on the basis that there is law and order that we're supposed to observe and respect, is that we could actually revert back to something that represented what I experienced when I was growing up, which is pretty much fair policemen. They all came to our schools. I was just discussing with Andy and Tell what community policing represents. And they've embarked on a program and project of trying to recruit more diversity into the Met. I'm sure they'll agree that that's not going too well. I happen to believe there are other ways of doing so, and I think it was Katie Berry who came to the community day. Andy, did you come? Community? No, Katie did. And she saw the art of the possible. We literally managed to engage the whole park with the Met Police delivering all that they do in sport, when I was told there is no sport in the Met, and found that there was a golden opportunity. I actually happen to believe that the Met can help deliver the London Youth Games in significant ways and in many ways. But I'll let you have your little engagement on the basis that they're actually quite nice people, which most officers are, especially in uniform, we're out of uniform. Andy? Andy tells a pretty funny story of a young man who thought he had the better of him. So you should share with everybody. No, your story was shut the door. Shut the door. No, Andy's story is the icebreaker. It was absolutely brilliant.
But from that story that I said earlier, to start with, this happened about 2 years ago. I was in a park with one of my colleagues, a community police officer, and there was a group of young lads there, and they were smoking cannabis. Now, obviously we all know that cannabis is illegal, so we went to stop and search them, believing they had more cannabis on them, and one of them ran. So, as the police officer, I took chase. Now, this guy was 17 years old, probably about as tall as Jeff here, so quite tall, and as you can see, I'm not the tallest of people, and not 17 anymore. So he had a head start on me, but what he didn't know is I actually like running. You know, I've run marathons, half marathons. I'm quite good with running, and I'm not the quickest, but basically, I just as long as I keep this guy in sight, eventually he's going to tire, because you could tell he's not an athlete, this guy. Even though he was quite slim, I could tell that he was not an athlete. So he made me run up a hill in his jogging bottoms, trainers, t-shirt. I had a big heavy Met vest, like stab-proof vest on, big boots. But I caught him, and I handcuffed him and said, "Don't you feel embarrassed now? You just let a 48-year-old man catch you, who's half your size and probably old enough to be your dad." Where he didn't seem too happy with me, but anyway, that's the story that I told. And at the end of it, I didn't get any cannabis off him. So he must have. When we went back to the park, where his four friends had actually stayed with the PCSO, the community officer, cannabis was found on them. So I think he was a decoy, so he went to run, so to draw me out, but the others stayed there. So eventually they got dealt with by other officers that heard me called up on the radio, and the one person that didn't get anything done to him was the guy that actually made me run. So
the lesson is run.
So yeah, so they kind of
Lesson is run.
You might not have Andy chasing you, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, what the police has actually taught me is I deal with things in different. Every police officer deals with things in different ways. I deal with things. I use my mouth. I talk to people. I try, because I know that haven't got that imposing figure. I haven't got that. Probably, I know what's going through people's mind. They're probably looking at me thinking, "Yeah, I could probably have him," you know, sort of thing. So I try and talk to people. I talk to people as if I like to be spoken to myself. You know, I'm a fair person, but obviously there is an attitude test as well. You know, if someone's getting in my face, then I've got to control that person. So that's how I treat things. Yes, there are times when I have to get hands on, like most officers do, but at the end of the day, I tell them, you know, it's their own fault. You know, if you do what you're doing, then eventually you've got to take the consequences. So.
Hello, my name's Nicole. My story's a little bit different. The reason why I joined the police was I grew up in Newham, in this lovely borough, not too far from here. As I was growing up, I didn't really see kind of many ethnic minority officers, let alone any female. So when I decided I wanted to join the Met, I did have lots of uproar from my family, friends. I did lose quite a lot of friends. So for me to join the Met, me joining the Met was a little bit different. Mine was for kind of bringing more diversity, more females into the police, which in my 20 years that I've done, I think I have. I have seen people join from different backgrounds. A lot of females are joining. So for me, that's the reason why I joined the Met. And same as kind of Andy's approach, I have seen changes in the police. Some for the better, some not so much for the better, but it's always, for me, it's always been about the one kind of common goal for me is to kind of bring my community or my culture, my kind of beliefs into the police, so people know about different ethnic backgrounds, minorities, religions, cultures. So I'm hoping I'm doing that. The reason why I joined Outreach, which is kind of a very small team that we have around the whole of the Met, is to bring more diversity into the police. That's it.
I actually believe that the community campus that we're going to be contributing to, when a community is policing itself, the police are simply part of that whole overall culture. A lot of our interventions globally, believe it or not, it's not gender bias, have women at the forefront. When I want to do the real formal intelligence, I go to the barber shop or the hairdressers. I get to learn everything I need to learn, and I'll pretty much learn what can happen, what can't happen. The police are normally part of the navigation and negotiation, and we do know at this moment the police are going through a pretty torrid time in the whole notion of trust, confidence and respect. But I do know on the community day, it opened my eyes up as to what I had experienced, 40 years back, that, by the way, the Met Police were actually one of the founding agencies that launched the Youth Charter, which isn't normally shared, but it is a fact. I think, in summary, and on the basis of what we do next, for me, it is about what you decide to share and what you decide to encounter and navigate and experiment and provide the feedback. Andy knows where I'm coming from in this, as Katie, but as an LYG team, and in particular, and Rebecca, the LYG 33 engagement now will be critical because everybody wants to know what the youth voice is. Selena, you're here from an Elevate board standpoint. The Elevate board are now having a significant input in all aspects of the transition and handover of this park to the 4 boroughs, and will be a greatly reduced, but hopefully more holistic and integrated approach. How many of you, well, I want to ask the question, how many of you are going to Paris this year? Sorry? How many of you are going to Paris this year? In what capacity? What will you be doing there?
We're going to watch.
You're going to watch?
Yeah.
Okay. Selena will know that Westfield are a French corporate entity, and as of yet, I've not been able to persuade Westfield in what I saw them deliver in Paris, delivered here, and they have equal stake in their global presence. Well, I know we're still into about 90 days to go, but there is an opportunity I'm hoping to see realised, and we have NGO links that are global, and there's something quite exciting about to happen. It will depend on the information you upload, because they've shared with me what they're intending to do, and there is no British representation, which again fulfills the notion that we're removed, we're arrogant, and we don't particularly care about the rest of the world that we participate in. So if you're hoping to go spectate, Selena, you're going, hope to stay with a college colleague, so there's already a bit of a delegation beginning to emerge, and as long as that's the case, I may be able to pull something off. So I just leave that with you. There's always an opportunity when you can get things pulled together. Questions? Because we're going to finish at 6:30, because we all have lives and we all have a fully committed time that I believe suggested. By the way, from my standpoint, extraordinary time well spent. The report, once you see it, will complement the other reports that are reflected, the daily the days of workshop engagement will have been produced. Questions, comments, summaries?
I'll just do a little intro. Sorry, again, apologies for my lateness, everyone. I know I've obviously met some of you. For those of you that I didn't meet last time, I'm Celine. I'm the Vice Chair for Elevate, which is the youth board for the Olympic Park, the LLDC, London Legacy Development Corporation. I just came from work, so that's why I'm late. But I'm basically also working with Shift, which is the innovation ecosystem here on the park. There's loads of really cool, interesting stuff happening here, as Jeff says, this kind of like transitionary period, and really just like connecting all the dots for young people during that. That's what we're here to do. So yeah, thanks.
And Celine came to the skills day because I believe that the Elevate Board, the Inclusive Economy, Shift are all part of a broader London engagement, and why again LYG 33 are so important. Once the elections happen on the 2nd of May, which is imminent, it really does start to become what will be seriously looked at by way of a youth offer for the young people of this campus. That's what we are lobbying for, and it won't be just for violence reduction, because I think that's the problem at the moment. We're prepared to put the money in when it's already failed in what should be fundamentally in the prevention and interventions. So there is a considerable effort taking place. You are playing part of that effort. The infrastructure architecture has been built and developed. It just simply needs your input. Is there anything that doesn't make sense or you would want to challenge, because this is a democracy and free speech, respectful free speech, is the order of the day.
Jeff, what's your thoughts in terms of, to our police officer colleagues that are representing today, in terms of how do we sort of turn that dial and get that more significant buy-in from the police?
I should disclose, I'm currently talking with the Met Commissioner. The Met have an existing KICS programme, which is primarily designed to reduce the trouble on our streets. As I said, following the community day that we hosted here at the Learning Centre, and when we were talking about arts and digital, this Learning Centre does all of that, but it still doesn't have sustainable investment and a full presence that would bring this area to life. Bumping into the Premier League workshop gave me the opportunity to suggest that we need to look at this differently, but my objective is to take this report, and that will form part of the lobbying, because the Mayor does have the policing panels of influence when it comes to the Met. So what I would say is there is an opportunity, and that opportunity is greatly enhanced on the basis of what we have done today, the workshop that both you and Katie attended last year, and what we've now completed today. That will all go to the Deputy Mayor with a portfolio for civic and civil society and communities. Deputy Mayor Weeks, she's progressive, she gets it. And then there's a lobbying effort that will see me speak to the Met Commissioner. But they're reviewing the KICS programme as we speak. And I see the youth games as something that the community policing should be absolutely aligned to, apart from some of them are really fit, some of them have the skills to be able to navigate what is still a pretty big parkland space that we have to manage if we're looking to attract the numbers. Celine is critical in this because the Elevate Board will be advocating. I see now, and they represent all of the subcommittees currently, but within what Celine has identified, now being taken seriously. I would honestly have been before they would just see as a presence. I watched 3 board reiterations because I have board responsibility to the youth agenda. They're now coming of age. So I can't stress enough how important this workshop will have been, the report that we'll produce that we'll all have, and the need for you to critique, upload, challenge, and develop what's been produced to date. Ellie, Rebecca, as there is a youth requirement, and as I participated in your skills then, I wasn't able to stay for the end of it, and as you are now, yes, it's no secret, I think you are now suitably enough empowered economically to make an impact. Congratulations. it's always good to get feedback, especially from the younger leads on all of this, because that's the only way it happens.
What your feedback on this now?
You're smart enough and clever enough to tell you that.
It's not really feedback, it's more of a processing thing for myself, as in like what I've learned and what I'm going to take away, what I can actually now bring to a work to be faithfully in terms of like, it's a lot, basically what I'm going to say. Yeah, I think
That's
yeah, I
enough.
think that's my thing more on the process, and then like, if this is all the thoughts that I have as one person, that I can imagine like what the rest of the group would want to bring to this. I think more so taking what I've learned today and presenting it back to the rest of the group and then going from there, I think.
I think it's about connecting the dots, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like bringing everyone together and making sure they're on the same page, and that collaboration piece to support the development of the objectives we want to achieve.
In the ideal world, I'd bring the organising committee and YG3 and the LFA board into what might be a final session. That might happen after the festival finals, because I think there might be enough trust and confidence in what everyone can contribute to. Because unless everybody can see themselves as part of it and delivering it and being successfully celebrated, I think you struggle. But what I do see now as a result of what has been a rather interesting number of days is potential. But I cannot stress enough, London State Learning does all this great work, but they exist from hand to mouth. So they have to go and find the grants in order to justify the programs, and they're very good at it. But what if they're part of a massive consortium collaborative approach that always requires in the funding applications multi-agency working? It always says that. And we always list all the agencies, the money comes in, and the collaboration partnership becomes difficult. For major games, it's easily done. Paris, already, everybody can see something in it for them. What we have to turn the London Youth Games into is something that everybody can see in it for them, who have a genuine commitment to the development of young people in this country. That's from everything that they have an interest in to ultimately what sees them employable, entrepreneurial, or realising their ambition and their potential. There is an economic justification of all of this. In the Chancellor's budget speech, he gave more money to the voluntary reduction than did. Shows where the thinking is. And if we talk about policing, your team's a small team. I'd have you improved by 100% plus. That would tell me we've succeeded. And there would be a number of officers that would be part of the organising. So to have possibly your team as part of the organising committee for this year's event, Andy, would be my immediate takeaway as potential. There's an organising committee, you have enough presence on the park, and you showed what you could deliver in one day. It'd be nice to see what that might look like at the festival finals. I'll just throw that out there. When's your next tournament?
10th of May,
10th to 11th of May, so we all have surely interested to see where this young tournaments are. And by the way, that's sleeping talent and potential. Because having the youth participative presence, which I really want to sincerely thank you for, tells us if we're getting the right balance, as well as the LYG team, which is youthful with, it's really humbling when you realise you're the oldest in the room from the 20th century. Any further questions? In that case, the one thing that I was asked to do, I took this slide and I put it as a central reminder, because, by the way, those are all the agencies that we've spoken to. Some of them are very much watermarked, because they haven't engaged, or they've listened but they've not heard. The rest, the bold, are all in some way involved with the London Youth Games. Some know about it, some don't know about it. Some are alumni, and some are simply not aware that it happens at the level and scale at which it does. And all of these organisations are pretty much within the geographic landscape of the park. So I just say potential, consultation will continue, but it will contribute to the finals. the potential now for a national call to action. It's not a secret. There used to be a National Youth Games, and did anyone know that it was the Commonwealth Youth Games that took place last year? I haven't even seen what the medal tables look like. I've asked for a report, but it happened. Does anyone know who represented London? So there's work to do, but I think if we put it together. But I'll just leave you with this, because I don't think without the late President Mandela's ability to summarise what we're about, in vision without action being just a dream, but action with vision just simply mere passing time, that vision with action can change the world. I've got an image I'd hope to share with you. I think it was just 5,000 women in the Eastern Cape, all uniformed, all ready to reclaim their communities and provide hope and opportunity to their young. Ubuntu is the spirit of me, ultimately, and only be achievable with the we. That being that, thank you for your participation and your contributions. I think there's some feedback sheets that Peter always does, but I don't always forget. But please follow up. The report will be produced, Peter will get it done in 7 days.
Yeah.
You'll have a report in 7 days, and you'll have the previous reports that will inform you as to why this is so important. You'll see some activity on the track, and just imagine it if it was tenfold vibrant, and if we had a food, well, there's food provisions there. I think you could pretty much have an education and be here, as I did. When I walked out of school, I was in an environment like this until 9 o'clock at night. So